Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, fellow insomniacs. How the heck are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. Hello. Can I just tell you that, I've shared this information before, and it just made me come off as such a creeper, period. I said, period. You know what? I'm so used to talking into my text to talk lately, and I'm used to doing the dictation thing. And so, you have to say period when you want there to be a period. And I just did that. Whoa. Okay. Duly noted. I've been using my text to talk, dictation, whatever you call it, way too much. Wow. And I almost just did it right there. Okay. Anyway. So, oh my gosh, I'm having a day. I've decided that if I talked about the fact that I was not a peeping Tom. I'm not a peeping Tom. I just am genuinely fascinated by people. I love to people watch. And I will not go out of my way to be a creeper. I'm not going to sit in your tree with binoculars, watching you. I'm not going to be outside your window, trying to peek in. However, if I'm walking my dog and you happen to have your curtains wide open, I'm going to slow down. I just am. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to gooseneck it because, again, I'm not trying to judge. I'm not trying to be like a creeper. I'm just like, what are you eating? What are you watching on TV? What's your house look like? What's your decorations look like? Wait, does that make me sound like more or less of a creeper if I say that? I don't know. I've always liked to people watch. I don't know if that makes me a voyeur. I don't know if that makes me a creeper and a peeping Tom. I mean, again, I think the difference between like a peeping Tom and someone that's just fascinated by people is, like I said, I'm not going to sit outside, climb up in your tree and sit outside with binoculars. I'm not going to actively camp out in your shrubs and watch you. I'm not going to sit out in a car and, case your house or anything. But if I'm walking by and your curtain's open, look, I look at it like this. If you don't want people to look in, don't have your curtains open. And then people are going to be like, well, maybe they just want daylight, Courtney. Maybe they want to look out. Okay, well, then you're looking at me too, right? Why is looking? I've never understood that either. Okay, so if I'm inside my house and I happen to be looking out, enjoying the view, and people are in my line of sight, I can't help that, right? I mean, it's no different. And if I'm outside and you have your windows or your curtains open, I can't help that either. You're looking at me, I'm looking at you, We all do it, I swear. It's not a me thing. I don't think that makes me weird. I think most of the population will slow down. Not everybody, but I think a good majority of the population slows down and watches stuff. It's just like how we do it with the whole a train wreck thing. Like if there's a car accident, it's our morbid curiosity. And we slow down to see what's going on. And so, of course, I'm going to slow down and see what's going on. If, see what you got cooking, literally. Like, what you making? What kind of food do you got going on there? What are you watching on TV? I don't know. I like to know what their decorations look like. Of course, I'm not going to tattle on anybody. I'm not there to judge. I'm not there to be like, wow, really? That's the curtains you pick out? I'm not. I'm just like, wow, interesting. Those are your curtains. Cool. It's just more of a noted. Okay. And I just gather information. I've kind of always been a person that does that. I notice my surroundings. I've talked about this before. And again, I think it comes from my background. When you're from the background I'm from, when you've got abuse in your background and stuff, you pay attention to your surroundings. You're always looking for the nearest escape, or you're always looking for when people can come in, ways people can get to you, or you're looking to see if anything's out of the ordinary, or you're looking to see how people's moods are. You're watching body language. It's just a lot that you're taking in all the time. And when you're a child of abuse and stuff, or when you're a child of watching parents fight all the time, and you just start noticing things. And so I can't help it. It's, well, like right now, this big ol', what does that say? Fancy. So there's like one of those big not charter bus, like kind of like a tour bus. It looks like it's almost like a dance company, but like fancy, like ballet kind of thing, or Cirque du Soleil, it looks like. I can't read it. Dang it. They just went parading through a very narrow street, by the way. Many dog walkers this morning. Lots and lots of dog walkers in this neighborhood. Interesting. So anyway, just wanted to ask, do other people do this? I feel like many people do. I feel like most people, will gooseneck and peer into a window or two. But anyway, just wanted to pose that question and also give you a glimpse of where my brain's at today. So, funny thing, I believe I've shared this. They've diagnosed me, many doctors and counselors have diagnosed me with ADD, not ADHD, ADD. And it's funny because people think ADD means you can't focus at all. And sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you can focus really, really hard and intently, like very intently on something for a while. And then you're like, you get bored or you get, sidetracked by something shiny and glittery. But you can focus, and you can focus intently. It's just then all of a sudden you're focusing intently on something else. And then you're focusing intently on something else. And pretty soon you've focused intently on 98 things, but not wholeheartedly on one thing, and you've really achieved nothing. Or there are days where it's like, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here. And then my brain's like, do, 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 do. And then I'm walking real fast and I'm talking real fast and my brain's going fast. And, like I love listening to Ben Shapiro because I love how fast he talks. I can't stand it when people take long pauses and try to describe everything. Oh, I mean, no offense. I'm not saying if you do that, like that's amazing. It paints a picture and, you really get into the conversation because you're, getting people into the story, you're drawing them in, but it makes me like check out. It really does. Like it's lipstick on things. I'm more of like cut to the chase, get to the details. I don't need all the lipstick. I don't need all the makeup. I don't need every detail because I'll just forget. Then I can't hold a conversation like that. So I love it when you're just cutting to the chase. You're talking fast. There we go. Because then my brain processes so much better. Believe it or not, my brain cannot process when people do things slow. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't. Driving slow drives me bananas. Now that I'm a grandma, I make myself, well, actually, when I became a mom, I had to make myself drive the speed limit. Although when I say drive the speed limit, I mean 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit, to me is still the speed limit. So when I say drive the speed limit, I mean like 5 miles or 10 miles over the speed limit. And I was like, and that was hard. That took every ounce of energy, but I kept thinking, my kids, my kids, my kids. And I always tell them to obey the law. Although I guess technically I still wasn't obeying the law at all. So, but when they got old enough to realize and look at the speedometer, then, then I went like about 5 miles over the speed limit. Now I have a grandson and I'm like, son of a bitch, I've got to make sure I practice what I preach and that I'm alive to see him grow up and alive to see my sons and my grandson grow up. So anyway, going slow is not my cup of tea. I walk very fast and my oldest son walks very fast. And it's funny because my youngest is always like, oh my God, you guys, seriously, what's the hurry? And I get it. but I feel like I take just as much in and I absorb things. And of course, there are times I understand to slow down. Like when I'm spending time with my family, I slow down. When I'm trying to spend quality time with somebody, I slow down. But when I'm doing my thing, it's like, get out of my way, like keep up or move out of the way, you know? And so ADD. Oh, yeah. So my point is, see, okay. So my point is, funny story. I went to the bathroom to throw something away in my little garbage in the bathroom and realized the garbage was full. So I was like, oh man, I need to take that out. And then as I'm processing, I need to take it out, I look up at the mirror and I start looking at myself in the mirror. And I'm like, oh man, I need to start moisturizing and I need to start drinking more water, like water, water, water. So then I'm like, okay, starting now, I'll go get more water. And then I go out to the refrigerator to get this smart water I had in the fridge. And I was like, oh man, the kitchen's dirty. I can see dust. I need to like maybe do some dusting. And I also need to kind of reorganize some stuff. There's some things that need to be reorganized. I'm not liking this refrigerator. Totally don't like how the refrigerator is organized. So I need to reorganize that. And then I'm like, okay, so yeah, I got to do that. But then I look down and I realize that the floor needs sweeping. So I go into the closet that I have the broom and I'm like, okay, so I start sweeping. And as I'm sweeping, I'm in the living room now and I'm sweeping and I have a door that has a big old window that's the size of the door that leads out. And I have my window, the blinds open so I can see outside. So then I start sweeping, but while I'm sweeping, I'm looking outside and I'm noticing all the people and I'm watching people and I'm like, oh, wow, people, fascinating. How fascinating are people? And then I start people watching. And my dog has a dog bed that's by the door. So I bend down to love on my dog on the dog bed. And I'm giving her loves and I'm giving her loves. And then again, I notice the floor is dirty because now I'm down at floor level. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right, sweeping floor. Got to start sweeping. So I start sweeping and sweeping. And now I start sweeping toward the bathroom. And I make my way toward the bathroom and I'm sweeping in there. And I'm like, oh, I'll just dump this stuff in my bathroom basket. And then I'm like, oh, shit. That's what started me on this entire trek in the first place. I need to empty the garbage in my bathroom. Just wanted to give you a little glimpse of how my brain works on any given day. That's it. As I've got also like 68 thoughts going on in my brain, and I'm also like listening to music and, doing all these things at once. It's a chaotic, cracked out. It's like Wolf of Wall Street in there, you know? It's like a frat house up in my head. It really is. Ugh. I don't know if you guys have. I used to think ADD was not a thing. I'm like, there's such thing as people just being hyper. Mine, I think, is also not sleeping enough. It's the insomnia and stress. So I feel like between ADD, insomnia, and stress, I'm just all, ugh. I'm surprised I'm walking upright. I'm going to give myself credit for walking upright, for still being able to feed myself, because I got to tell you. Anyway, those are the things that are, oh my gosh, 13 minutes. I've only been talking for 13. Now, I say I've only been talking for 13 minutes, and you guys are probably like, oh my God, you've been rambling on and on for 13 fucking minutes. Jeez. Probably some of you have already checked out by now. Who knows? But for those of you that are still hanging on, woo! You got this. Party. Like, I give you lots of credit. If you can keep up with my brain, then love it. Maybe you're ADD. Maybe you're ADHD. Maybe you're just really good at keeping up with people that have ADD, you know? Um, but if you are still listening, I just want to thank every single one of you, you, Sharon, Larry, Katrina, Sally, Joe, you guys. I appreciate y'all. I just made up random names, but hey, if you happen to be one of those names, anybody who is listening, if you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome aboard. And if you've been listening all along, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I have to try to think of a new clever way to say thank you. I feel like I always say the same thing, but I don't know how else to say it. It's genuine. If that means anything, I'm not just saying it to say it. I'm saying it because I genuinely, honestly mean it when I say I appreciate you. Gross. I hope you guys cannot hear that. My dog is just full on getting it done. She's giving herself a little bath, if you know what I mean. Stop it. Lord have mercy. We have listeners. Anyway, this was just a quick little little shout out. Wanted to see if other people share a brain like mine and how you deal with it. How do your family members or spouse or partner deal with you being all woohoo? Maybe they're the same way. Do two crazies balance out and make a calm? I don't know. Do two calms make a crazy? Deep Thoughts by Jack Candy. Who remembers that? Saturday Night Live? Deep Thoughts by Jack Candy. That was frickin' the best. I just thought about that. Deep Thoughts by Courtney Perry. Anyway, nostalgia. All right. Well, this was just a quick little blip. You can play this while you are on walking your dog, taking your dog to the bathroom. Maybe while you're getting ready in the morning. Maybe you have a short commute and, you just need a little something. Maybe you're on the bus and it's not too far away and it's just a quick little something to get your day going. But for whatever reason you're listening and wherever you're listening from, shout out to all the countries that I'm noticing. Singapore, you guys are, again, I don't know if it's one person in Singapore that's listening or if it's many, but it's United States and Singapore is like the country that I have the second most downloads from. That is insanity. Go Singapore, get her done, what, shout out, Okay. Shout out to every single stinking one of you. And honestly, I'm wishing you the most fabulous day. I'm working an extraordinary amount of hours this particular week. So I'm extra loopy, by the way. I'm super loopy. I'll be working out of 12 days, I will have 1.5 of those 12 days off. So I'm a little loopy. I'm a little crazy. So if I seem a little extra today, that's why. My lack of sleep and my, working extra hours and not sleeping at all is not a great combination. Just want to throw that out there. But if you were in the same boat, if you're working a lot of extra hours because it's the holidays and, you're putting in that extra time, you got this. You got this. Make sure to try to get your sleep. Make sure to try and put your feet up. Make sure to try to take a hot bath or read a book or, take your dog on a walk and people watch like I do. Look through some windows. Don't be a creeper. I'm not condoning, being a stalker or anything. So don't get the wrong idea. Just saying, walk a little slower and kind of gooseneck and see what's going on. Whatever you got to do to pass the time, to get some you time. Make sure you get at least, a half an hour of you time. And I know people are like, yeah, right, Courtney. My life is crazy. I say the same thing. I'm always like, yeah, right. But if you don't do it, you're going to wind up like me. You're going to be just losing your damn mind. And you don't want that. It's not a good look. Crazy is not a good look, I got to tell you. So make sure you take some time for yourself. Make sure you slow down because, again, I do everything fast. I slow down for my family. I take that time with my family. So just make sure you have something that slows you down, at least for like a half an hour a day if you can. Try to get that sleep. So, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time.